I can't hear Jill.
Yeah, Jill, I think you're still muted.
Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. Let's try that again.
Hi.
Welcome to Ink and Paint. I was doing so well. That sounded fantastic. I'm really sorry you all missed it. My name's Jill Diffenall. I am co-host of Ink and Paint along with Ashley Jasmer down there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And tonight we are joined by Shannon. Uh-oh, except now I can't hear Shannon. There she is. And Desi.
Hello.
There we go.
Do you like my decor? This is definitely my house.
I've never seen that wall before, Desi. I have no idea where you are. All right, so tonight we are talking about decorating your home Disney. And I think probably everyone here, everyone in the chat, everyone on the panel, the vast majority of people out there in the Disney fandom have some amount of Disney somewhere in their house, because when you love something, you bring it into your life. And Disney makes it really super easy to do that. So I want to go around the panel kind of talking a little bit about kind of what's your Disney home like? And we're going to show a ton of pictures later, but just kind of like, what's your philosophy or feeling about decorating Disney? How much of it do you like? Is there such a thing as too much? Like, what's your jam when it comes to bringing Disney into your house? So I'm going to start with Desi.
I would say that for me, I have very subtle touches that if you aren't looking for it, you wouldn't necessarily know that it's Disney around my house, except for one room that my husband has allowed me to go crazy with. But I'm sure you'll see that later.
Was there a method to the madness of selecting which room? Is it like your room? Is it like your what do they call it? She shed, man cave kind of thing?
It's our office. So I would say that half of the room is mine. So half of it is full on Disney. And then my husband was in the military. So the other side is full on just like man stuff. So it looks really crazy to all be in the same room together. But it's our one room where it's like we've thrown all this stuff together that we wouldn't necessarily want guests walking into our house to see.
That's fair. All right. I kind of want to see this room and have it like man versus mouse. I think that sounds pretty fun. Shannon, how about you?
Oh, you're muted, Shannon.
Oh, and I feel like we can't hear Shannon. No, we could hear her before. That's so weird. All right, Ashley, you go ahead while we try to get Shannon fixed up.
So mine is similar to Desi. There's a couple little Disney touches around my house that you probably wouldn't necessarily notice unless you are a Disney fan. And then obviously there's my office behind me, which is pretty much where I have crammed my unhealthy obsession. But I will say it's kind of fun because when I tell people like, oh yeah, I really like Disney, and they're like, oh, that's cute. And then I actually, if we do have people come over there and I show them my office, it really emphasizes, no, I really like Disney. Like, again, when I tell you that it's more than just I go to the parks every now and again, it's really kind of fun to walk people up here for the first time and let them look around the room and see all of the Disney memorabilia. It's kind of nice to have it all in the same room versus kind of scattered throughout the house. And it's kind of a compromise similar to Desi that my husband and I have come up with. All of his military stuff is down in his office, in his area, and all of mine is up here. And then we compromise on like the shared space.
Interesting. Shannon, do we have you back yet?
Can you hear me?
Yes!
Yes!
Yay! So
Excellent.
very similar position to everyone else, where I actually just moved into this home. So I've not set up my office yet, my she office, but this will be the dedicated Disney space. But growing up in my parents' house, all the Disney stuff was dedicated to the basement. The entire basement was filled, I mean, practically wall to wall with Disney art and Disney memorabilia, to the point where my friends would come over and it would be, named the Disney basement, the Disney house. But I do believe in having one dedicated space. As much in my dreams, I would love to have an all Disney house. It's not realistic and people don't always get it. So I think have a one dedicated space and put those little hints in other parts of the house where people don't notice, but you do. When you see it, you're like, oh, I miss Disney World. And it's there and only you know it and no one else does.
Yeah, so for me, it's interesting because I grew up with Disney since I was a little kid. My grandmother was very into it, and she was the one who would take me and Jason when we were little. But she was never into a lot of Disney stuff, like in the house. And I don't know if some of that's a function of we used to go in like the 80s when there wasn't anywhere near as much merchandise and like you weren't going to walk into a store and find, Disney pot holders and Disney spatulas. She had a thing for collecting the little ceramic figurines. I don't know if anyone sort of remembers them from back in the day, but they had ceramic figurines of all the characters. And so like every trip we'd go, we'd get a few. And she would have a shelf in her house where she would display them all. So to me, growing up, Disney in your house was like a collectible thing. And they were super fragile. Everyone was terrified. I know there were times in life where something got knocked over on the shelf and broke. And so like that was my growing up impression of a Disney house was this like, just like your mom had a curio cabinet full of little stuff or whatever, like that was what it was. And for me in my parents' house growing up, they never really had a lot of anything. We had pictures like on the wall, family vacation photos that my mom would frame and hang on the walls, but we didn't have Disney stuff. So it wasn't until I got older that I had stuff. And then I kind of maybe went a little overboard with having Disney stuff in my house. But now, like, I just moved into an apartment 2 months ago. I wish I had had more time. This room is going to be my Polynesian room. You can't really see it behind me, but there's a headboard that I got from Animal Kingdom Lodge. The lamp behind me, if I lean this way, I think, no, this way, that is an old Polynesian lamp. I have another piece of framed art from the Polynesian that's going to go up on the wall. So this will be that room. But then I have other stuff too. Like I have non-Polynesian sort of like Asian tropical theme stuff that will go in this room. So I think my sort of taste is more around blending Disney stuff in with all my other stuff, which you'll see in some of my pictures later.
It's interesting that you mentioned about the ceramics because the ceramics was actually part of our vacation tradition. So my sister and I, every year we would get a ceramic. We were allowed to pick out one each and then we would have them displayed in our bedroom. And by the end we had a whole collection, but it was so sad when they started to get rid of them because then that tradition kind of fell by the wayside, but definitely becomes a part of your home and a part of your Disney decor.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because like I remember in retrospect, they weren't super expensive. Like it wasn't some,
no.
like Royal Dalton or some whatever kind of collectible china. They were just kind of, ceramic, no big deal. But when I was a kid, I thought they were something super special. And
yeah, we had something similar. My grandmother, she used to every year we would get to open a gift on Christmas Eve. And for the longest time, it was, do y'all remember? I think it was like a subscription service or something like that. One of those, almost like Bradford Exchange, but they did the Disney Christmas ornaments that were ceramics. And we would get
we never had it, but I
remember
year. Like seeing them in magazines and stuff.
So I do have a bunch of those because we would get one of those every year. So those were kind of our ceramics, but then around the same time they discontinued them in the park, they stopped doing the ornaments. And it really is a shame because it was so cool to have. And because we were kids, not many of mine have fully survived. to adulthood. They're all missing ears or noses or something.
Disney's not really good about making stuff that's not super fragile. I have lots of random little Disney tidbits around my house that have, an ear or a nose or a tail or something missing.
And they're heavy too. Like, you have to be careful putting them on the Christmas tree because they weigh so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had a few where they've actually, like, you hang them and you think it's good, and then they would fall, and you'd have to dive into the Christmas tree to catch them. So in hindsight, maybe I should have just put them on a shelf, but they were fun to put.
Well, there's a whole other topic, which I feel like we're going to need a whole other show for at some point, which is like Disney holidays and like how you pull that into your life too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny,
for sure.
I guess just, it never really was a thing. And then like, even the stuff I did have as a kid was like, Mickey Mouse stuff. It wasn't Disney park stuff, because I don't really think that was a thing back then either. And, we're going to take a look later at some, really well-themed rooms and like all of this, especially the Haunted Mansion is great for putting out merchandise. There's an entire Haunted Mansion store in the parks, and there's merchandise that you can basically, build a room around the Haunted Mansion. And that never used to even be an option when we were younger, because Disney just didn't release that kind of merchandise.
No, it's very true.
All right, so I'm going to start showing off some stuff, and I'm going to start with Ashley because I feel like this isn't really spilling the beans anymore. Ashley is very pregnant.
Very much so.
And is going to have a baby soon. And so she has taken a video of her recently finished nursery that she has decorated. Very Disney.
Yeah, this is one of the few rooms apart from my office that obviously I was like, no, we're going to go a little bit more blatantly Disney. My husband just kind of nodded and gave up as soon as I pretty much said. So this is the nursery. The idea was kind of Tinkerbell Neverland themed. So that little figurine my mom actually got me. Obviously the little golden books, some Peter Pan art. The clock is actually from Etsy, which, word to the wise, if you are trying to do a Disney room and you cannot find anything at the parks that quite works, Etsy is a great resource to find things. Because I think, with the exception of actually, so these figurines came from Disney Store.
Are they Jim Shore?
But
some of them look like Jim Shore.
They are. Yeah. Okay. That one's Jim Shore and Ariel is Jim Shore. Chesh was just a random Disney Store figurine. And then that was actually art from the parks where they do the sketches. Yes, it was a stuffed Nana. Again, plush was easy to find at the park or through Disney. The figurines were good or easy to find. The rest, it came from Amazon or Etsy, which, again, if you're trying to do a themed room, can't say highly enough. You may have to be a little bit specific in your search of kind of having an idea of what you're looking for. But great resources, which are also something that's really helpful nowadays. That was not a thing back even, I think, 10 years ago to try to do a Disney themed
really
room.
Great for ideas.
It is. Yep. A lot of the I used a lot of Pinterest inspiration. The clock I actually saw on Pinterest and then tracked it down on Etsy to order. But yeah, I'm very excited. I was very pleased with how it turned out.
I would say don't expect that room to look like that for much longer.
No.
It will never look that clean and organized ever again.
It'll never be that pretty ever again, but it's fine.
But now you have a video, like preserving it forever, right?
Yep. I have video evidence that it was beautiful and it was done, and it will never look like that again.
It's a great theme, too, because so many themes are Winnie the Pooh or Bambi. I think Neverland and Peter Pan is a brilliant idea. So kudos to you. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to do something a little bit more outside the box than just the standard Winnie the Pooh or Minnie Mouse or something like that.
Yeah.
It makes me jealous that I only had boys, because I feel like my husband would have been more willing to let me do a Disney-themed nursery if we had girls, but we only had boys, so we had to go with more generic sailor theme.
I was going to ask, did you theme your kids' rooms Disney? But there's the answer.
No, I wish.
There's still time. They do have Disney rooms now.
The closest I got was he considered doing Maui themed, like, the Rock
that
Maui.
Would be so cute.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been cute.
But we wound up going with the just generic sailor theme because my husband was in the Navy. So womp womp. Never got the cutesy girl room.
It's rough though, right? Because like when boys are little is the easiest time to do Disney themes for them, because then they tend to, want to grow out of it and want something a little more masculine. So
yeah, I will say that all of their clothes are Disney. I don't think they own really any just like generic regular kid clothes. It's all Mickey, Grogu, like just Disney, Star Wars, Marvel. That's it.
Sounds like my wardrobe.
Well, see, you may not have gotten the room, but you got the wardrobe.
Yep, and that's what people see on a daily basis.
There you go.
All right, so next I'm going to pull up Shannon's pictures. And Shannon, you can talk us through some of these. Oh, the holiday one is first.
Yeah. So these are great hitchhiking ghosts that my parents put out for Halloween. They used to live in that basement that I talked about earlier. And whenever I'd have a sleepover, my friends would be like, can we put a blanket over them? They're like, no, it's a hitchhiking ghost. Like, you don't get it. It's a thing. But now they do live outside for Halloween. They used to have their own lights, but they're older now. Their lights don't work. So my parents got this beautiful purpley pinkish spotlight that rotates around them. And I think it's super cute, super great. And again, something we don't see that much anymore is merch like this, but it's a great one.
So I know these exist, but I have never seen all three of them together at once before. So this was exciting for me when you sent this picture. Yeah, how old are these? Do you know off the top of your head how long you've had them?
I don't. I would say at least 10 plus, because I think they had them when I was before college. Yeah, so I think they're over 10 years old.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've been around for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we have your mug collection.
Oh, yeah. We had some good mugs, and I have one on my desk right now too. But I especially love this. So the 25th anniversary, I know that the one on the right, the sparkly with the blue cap, that one a lot of people have. I know even my in-laws who are not Disney people, they have that and use that on a regular basis. But the pumpkin one, the Halloween 96, oh, I love that. So this is just a small snippet. We do keep the special ones, the holiday ones on display. And but another great collector's piece. Jill, I think you hit the nail on the head that Disney, especially back in the day, it was about like collecting. And I know that they have pins still and they have Vinyl Nation, but these mugs were so special. And I plan on one day having my own display in my office when time comes.
That's awesome. All right, let's see what's next.
So these are very special. I have to actually go back to my notes from my mom about this. My mom was great at picking things out. Going to the Disney art stores, the Disney art gallery was always a part of our trip. These were clay ornaments from the Disney gallery. She said only 25 sets were made. The artist made the clay ornaments and then painted them. So you can kind of see behind Ursula, she kept the tag on them. There's a full set. So even to the right, it's like the full set of villains. But these are very special that we have on display. Again, another one of those special things that doesn't come around very often. And so therefore we have to prominently display them regardless of the time of year for everyone to see.
Yeah, right.
Not just Halloween.
Oh,
So
favorite right here.
Yeah. And this is, again, only a small snippet. This entire, like 3 or 4 tier buffet that my sister has is a full collection of tiki mugs. And I saw this postcard. They sold it, I want to say, in Disney Springs a while back in the co-op. But it's the most adorable octopus. And I'm a big sucker for Trader Sam's, so I will pay whatever for those tiki mugs. Great mugs, even better. Start your own collection. Highly recommend.
I just got my first Trader Sam's mug of my very own for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I was like so ridiculously proud of myself that I was like, I finally own my own Trader Sam's mug.
They're really great.
Of course, I got the hippopotami tie because I feel like that's the one you have to start with, right?
Yeah, that one's really pretty because it's still the glass, right? It's not like a ceramic mug.
This one's ceramic. Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Okay. Ceramic. You can buy the glass one in the shop in the Polynesian, but the one you actually buy at Sam's is ceramic. All right. Next up. Ooh.
Yeah, this is precious. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from, again, this is my parents. The lamp was in a Disney gallery catalog that used to be back in the day, and it's hard to see. You can, in the middle, you see a little black outline, and it's away, and them all flying to Neverland, and of course Tinkerbell is on the base of the lamp. And then that beautiful lithograph in the background, that was purchased from the Boardwalk Wyland Gallery. So this is actually in a part of the home where, again, it's not necessarily overly Disney unless you walk up close. Like from far away, I don't think you could tell that Tinkerbell is there on the base of the lamp, or that's, it's kind of visible that you can see the pirate ship. But it's not until you go really close up to that painting where you can see Tinkerbell and Peter Pan. So just kind of a subtle nod. It makes the room look beautiful, but in your head you're like, oh, that's Disney. It's beautiful. It's perfect. And I love it.
Ashley's going to need you to send that to her.
I was just going to say, you need to loan these to Ashley. Because, a gorgeous glass lamp is exactly what you want in a baby's nursery.
Yeah, that'll last real long.
All right, we got one more from Shannon.
Okay, this is
so cool.
The kind of end all. But yeah, this is the most prized possession that we own. So not to get too off topic here, but Epcot of the old days was so special in so many ways, specifically World Showcase, where, I have memories of going to China and having my name written out, or going to Japan and watching the candy maker. Well, if anyone can remember, Germany had an egg painter, and she painted all sorts of eggs, regular chicken eggs. She painted ostrich eggs, and this was an egg that she painted. It was, of course, as you can see, that beautiful cake castle. So we know this egg is now at least 25 years old, and the characters painted around the back. Yeah, sadly, I think she did pass away a few years ago, but this is a very, very special piece that we have of, the 25th and our older, vacations, nostalgia, and Epcot, of course, too.
Right. Very cool. All right. So I am going to take us over to the pictures that a little interlude quick, because we got a lot of pictures from a lot of members of the show panel and friends of the show who have Disney out the wazoo. So I'm going to jump over to Emma. Many of you in the chat, I'm sure, know Emma as one of our WIGS members. She has been a panelist on Pressing Issues and here on Ink and Paint before. She couldn't be on the show tonight, but she wanted to share some of her pictures. So Emma right now is actually away from home doing a doing theater. And so she was like, even though I am not at home, I had to bring some of my Disney stuff with me, which I think is fantastic. And I think it's funny that this is basically temporary housing for her while she's working this theater job, at just how much Disney stuff she brought with her to her temporary place. So she's got her Disneyland 65 blanket. She's got all her plush there on the bed. She brought zippers and pop vinyls, which I also think is hilarious. I don't know that I would have taken my Orange Bird zipper with me, but I probably would have taken some of my pop vinyls with me. She brought her Tony's restaurant sign. This is such a cool sign. I love this sign. I think it's fantastic.
Did she bring her microwave with it too?
I know, right? I assume she's got one in the room. She's got a little plant there and a BB-8 planter. And then she's got some more pops. It makes me want, like, my insides are seizing up at the idea that this Mad Hatter teacup is out of the box. I just need to say that. There were 3 pop vinyl teacups released. Alice was the first one, and she was in the parks, and nobody bought her. And I think you might still be able to find her at the outlets.
Purchasing her.
If you see she might still be at the outlets. Next time I'm at the outlets, I'll pick you one up because she's probably like 15 bucks by now. I felt bad because my brother bought me one at like full price in the parks, and then they were like clearanced out shortly thereafter. And then there was this Mad Hatter one, which was one of the series of pops released for the Disneyland 65th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And I was able to get one of those. But then there was I think it was a Comic-Con exclusive Cheshire Cat in a teacup that I would love to own. But he now sells for like $500+ on eBay. And it like makes me so sad that I don't have Cheshire Cat teacup. But pop vinyls are a subject for another time. I could talk at length about them, and I feel like there are probably some other people out there that could too. We might have to have Eric Wolf on that show because I know he's a pop vinyl junkie. All right, we are now going to cut over to some of what Desi sent in for us. So I'll start with some of your pictures first, Desi, and then we'll go to some of your Instagram stuff.
Yeah, so... sorry, it's a little dirty. Usually I keep either fruit or use this as a bread basket. But it's just like a little hint of Disney that unless you were really looking at it, you probably wouldn't realize that it is a Mickey Mouse fruit bowl. So obviously when it's filled with fruit or something else, people aren't going to necessarily notice that it's Disney. So it's kind of like that more subtle hint of Disney as opposed to the full-on in-your-face Disney.
Yeah, there's been some really nice kitchen stuff that has been like that subtle, useful, and like, yeah, you'd have a fruit bowl in your house, but this one just happens to be Mickey. Yeah. And then
this one's a little bit more in your face. This is a prize possession.
We all want this.
I love this cookie jar. My husband surprised me with it for my birthday, so thank you to him.
That's so awesome.
Yep. And so cool. Of course, have to have my pass holder magnets on the refrigerator too.
Right.
But a lot of what I have is not actually Disney, but this is some of the only like actual Disney licensed merchandise that I have in my house, because a lot of the Disney touches that I have are actually from small shops, but this is actual Disney. So like the fruit bowl and the cookie jar are from Disney.
Cool. And I'm going to show this one last picture that I know is not yours, but your aunt's. But while we have it up, I'm going to show it off because I thought this was the coolest thing.
Yeah, so my aunt lives here in Celebration, about a mile away from the studio. So pretty much anytime I'm on News Tonight or have to be here, I stay with her. And I would say that probably my love of Disney came a lot from her, because she's a huge Disney fan, obviously. She lives here. She has Mickey actually in her wood floors, wooden, wood floor Mickey. And I haven't seen that in anybody else's house. And I just think that is the coolest thing ever.
So did the
Absolutely
house
incredible.
come this way, or did she have this? Is this like a thing you can find in random houses in Celebration?
I think because I think when, they were building Celebration, I think you could request certain things. And this was one of the things
Oh,
that
it
you
was like
could
an
request.
upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
Oh.
cool.
That is
Right.
cool.
And then we have a bunch of pictures you sent in from your Instagram. So let's start with this cool one.
Okay, so this is the room that I was talking about, that is the slap you in the face with Disney room. My husband was so wonderful, and I was out for the day, and I was probably at the parks, and he stayed home and just built this wall and surprised me with it one day. Like, all the ears were up on the wall. He had this all done and surprised me with this, and it was the greatest surprise ever to come home and have a whole. He calls it the wonderful wall of Disney.
Oh,
That's so cool.
cute.
Yeah. So,
And
husband of the
then-
year.
Indeed. No one's ever built a wall for
No,
me.
definitely.
That's fantastic.
Oh, and I would also say he had that artwork commissioned for me because he used to work at an auction house. So he had the Mickey and Minnie commissioned by
Oh, wow.
an artist. I think
I'll
it's
get back to that.
Jezza. So that was
That's so
that was very
cool.
special too. Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we've got more stuff on your walls.
Yes. Because I have such like a big Instagram presence, sometimes people will reach out to me and say, hey, can we send you something? And this company was like, hey, can we send you a map? And I was like, sure. And I could pick anywhere in the world, but I'm like, well, where else would I
Obviously,
pick other than
Right.
Walt Disney World? So that's kind of a more subtle touch. I don't usually keep it in the room with the mouse ears next to it. I have it like in my bedroom. But it's also another thing that unless somebody goes up to it and reads that it says Walt Disney World, it just looks like a nice piece of artwork on the wall. So it is one of those more subtle things that I like in my house.
Very cool. And this, which I thought is really neat looking.
Mm-hmm. So when my husband and I got married, our first dance was to A Whole New World. And
Aw.
this company also reached out to me on Instagram and offered to send me a music sheet that was Disney themed. And so obviously I picked this one. And that lamp is actually from when we traveled to Morocco. So I bought it. And the whole reason I went to Morocco was because I wanted to go because of Epcot.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that's cool.
That's so cool.
And more super interesting
Yes.
little items that you have.
So this, obviously that's a wallet. That's not like my house decor. But one of my really good friends, Surrey, makes these amazing candle holders. She has like all these different Disney themed candle holders, and they're just so beautiful and so unique. I just love them so much. So.
You also sent one more Instagram that is a friend of yours. And I wanted to show this because I think this is awesome.
Yes, this is my friend Peyton, and she has the coolest bathroom in the whole world, Haunted Mansion bathroom, and I am super jealous. So maybe I can convince my husband to do this with our bathroom because Haunted Mansion is his favorite ride. So hopefully he's watching.
Now I have a
and
question.
he can tell me, yes, let's do this in our house.
Yeah, no, I have a question. So being local in Orlando, is your friend whose bathroom this is, do they live local?
Yes, she and her husband are both cast members.
So I'm curious because I see a lot of houses, even houses for, rental that are off property that have these elaborate, like overly themed, and it seems so normal, and it seems so normal even if you don't rent your house out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious as to how that actually goes for people who don't live in the area, you know? But it's so cool. And it's even more of a draw to go down there. Like, Jill, you have to get on
Mm-hmm.
this train. It sounds like you're already on your way there with your.
It's coming for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I'm
love this.
I'm working on things, but I think mine will always be a blend of Disney and non-Disney. But somebody in the chat asked, and I thought that the Haunted Mansion bathroom would be a good segue to a Haunted Mansion guest room. So for those of you who know Eric Morton from from WDWNT, they recently moved into their home, him and Cookie Boss, and they have an entire Haunted Mansion themed guest room. So let's see if we can give a little tour of some of this. So these are a lot of the pictures on the wall above the bed are Larry Dotson. They have a collection of those. And then they have two of the stretching room portraits on the wall in between the windows. The bedspread is a Haunted Mansion themed. I think she got that somewhere. It's obviously not Disney. Disney doesn't make that, but she had it. She found it somewhere online that they could make the Haunted Mansion wallpaper print into the bedspread.
Man, now I want that bedspread too.
I know,
I
isn't it
I
so
just want
cool?
to stay in the room. Like, that is a
It's very nice.
gorgeous guest room.
Is this why
I
every
have
time
had
somebody
the
comes
privilege.
in, every time
They
somebody
stay with
comes into
Eric.
town, it seems like they stay with Eric? Yeah.
Oh, I'm skipping ahead. Let me not
That
skip
is
too
so
far
cool.
ahead. So in addition to, I'm gonna breeze through these. Oh no, okay, I messed up, or I missed a couple of pictures. In addition to the Haunted Mansion themed room, and you can see here on the left too, they've got like the Host of Ghost jars that they sold in the parks. The gargoyle candle holders. There's a picture frame. There's a whole bunch of other Haunted Mansion stuff. The Haunted Mansion throw that they had at Memento Mori is there on the chair as well. So they've definitely kind of over time collected a lot of these prints, collected a lot of the other little knickknacks and things, and many of them are from the parks, while some of them are not. So then the room right across from this is Eric's office, and that is sea themed. So he wanted to do a room, and again,
Oh, wow.
a lot of this
It's
stuff
great.
That's
is
so
not
great too.
Disney stuff per se. It's little touches. It's maps. Some of them are prints. Some of them are other little like knickknacks he's picked up over time. He's got a Jungle Cruise pillow there on the chair, but like the globe, the airplane propeller. But instead of doing something that is like all just Disney stuff, it is all stuff that makes you feel like you're in the room of a member of C. So I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to show that off as well. And then the last one of their rooms that that I wanted to show off is their powder room, where they have an entire wall of attraction poster art, which I thought was really
Want
cool.
it. Need that whole
Yeah,
thing.
and you walk into the
Mhm.
powder room and like it's the entire wall. So, and I'll show
Are
off this one
those
because
the ones?
Poppy's in the picture.
Did they get the ones? Are those from the calendars that they did? Because I just realized, pregnancy brain, I should have taken a picture, but something that we didn't talk about is like offices at work. Because I actually did my office at work kind of Disney themed, because I need something to bring me joy with my job. But I did it obviously on the cheap because it's my office. but I use those posters from the calendar, the 12 by 18
I
when
don't
they did
know.
the attraction poster calendars.
I didn't think they were, because I think they're a little bigger than that.
Are they? I mean, they're cool either way.
D. Oh, Leah's in chat saying they're from Destination D.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I need to order some from them because I'm missing a few that I really wanted. But yeah, that's getting creative with how you use things too can be a great way to add some Disney.
Indeed.
But that's very cute.
All right. So I think we're at a good point. I have more stuff to show, but okay. I was going to say we're at a good point to take a break, except that I don't know that I have that ready. So we are going to, I wanted to show off this picture as well. So Stephanie, another one of our panelists, sent this in as the weirdest Disney thing she's ever seen. That she was landing in Houston and was only, and just flew over this. Now, to me, like, this looks like a golf course, right? Like, I feel like this is a really weird,
almost
like
a
thing you just
like
see. But it's almost like somebody like has extra property and made a golf course like on their property. Like it's one hole. It's not obviously an entire golf course, or maybe it's just a putting green and they put some sand traps or something. But isn't that weird? Like, I just thought that was the most interesting. I think they did.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks like it's part of someone's property. This is like my husband's dream would be to do something this big. He definitely wants a putting green at some point in the backyard. It's a thing now, but this is pretty extensive. And I think it mimics one of the holes, I want to say in Magnolia. I played this hole back in March, and the Mickey bunker sits like that right at the base at a water hazard, which it looks like to the right. I can't tell for sure, but that looks like water, right? To the right?
Yeah.
Of the Mickey?
I think that's water all along the side. Like it's basically this piece of property is on a stream or river or something.
Eric's in the chat.
I'd like to believe in my heart. Oh.
Yeah, you're right, Shannon. It's an homage to One at Disney.
Yeah.
Apparently it's Tour 18 in Houston, and all of the holes are themed as tributes to famous golf courses.
Wow. I was going to say, it does look identical, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it must be a golf course like neighborhood, I'll bet.
That's amazing. Good job, Steph.
But that's really cool. It's curious that they would do it in Houston, but all right.
Yeah. Jill, are you still with us?
I think she might be getting the commercial ready.
Okay.
Welcome to Unplanned Downtime, a new home for creative, innovative, and outlandish programming made for Disney fans, including Cosmic Read Live, discussions and Imagineering attractions, Deep in the Plus, reviewing the catalog on Disney Plus, Ink and Paint, celebrating female voices in the Disney fandom, WDW News Tonight, a late-night comedy show with sketches and characters, Boxed In, opening mystery packages and viewer mail, Picky Eaters, trying to eat our way across Disney restaurants, WDWNT the RPG, a tabletop adventure set in Tokyo Disney Sea, and more of your favorites. Subscribe now at unplannedDowntime.com. Remember, it's not an accident, it's unplanned downtime.
Welcome to Deep in the Plus. Each week, join host Rob Whiteside and a panel of Disney superfans as they take a different movie or TV show from the Disney Plus catalog, tell you its history, details, give their review, and let you know if it's worth your time. Current shows, classic movies, and everything in between. Watch Deep in the Plus live Tuesday nights at 9 Eastern for new episodes, or catch Deep in the Plus anytime on YouTube at unplannedDowntime.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Cosmic Chris Reed, inviting you to join my co-hosts and I every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern on WDWNT Entertainment as we chat Disney park memories, food, and Imagineer our own attractions, restaurants, hotels, and more. Share your stories with us in the YouTube chat. Cosmic Read Live, every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on WDWNT Entertainment.
WDWNT presents Timekeeping, a year-by-year journey through the history of the vacation kingdom of the world. Join us for the premiere Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, or watch on demand anytime on the WDW News Today YouTube channel.
Jill, you
You're
muted.
muted, Jill.
Gosh, keep doing that. Thank you. I wanted to jump in and first of all show some of my Disney decorating. There's not a ton of it. I haven't really gotten to the point yet where I have settled into my apartment enough to be fully decorated. But to give you guys a little bit of an idea, this is my kitchen. So I've got just like the top shelf is all Universal, all the collectible Universal glasses. And then I've got all of like sippers and cups and things. But like you'll see some stuff that's not Disney, right? Like right there in the middle of the picture, that's actually a Wawa coffee pot.
Is that from outside the bubble?
That is from outside the bubble. I have all the Star Wars stuff on one side. And then like this, so the print in the upper center is a print that was a part of the package you got if you did the D23 event at the studio's 30th anniversary. So you got this limited edition lithograph, and it's got like black and white sketch of all of the different sort of park attractions over the years. But I have it like hidden amongst all of my records and stuff hanging on the wall. So like I kind of like that, again, blending Disney in with all the other stuff where it doesn't always necessarily stand out as totally Disney. It kind of blends. But then these are like my favorite thing in the world. These are my bookshelves in my bedroom. And they're the glass door bookshelves, like the barrister style bookshelves. And so I have all my books on there, but then I have all of my Alice stuff. So like this, and I have two of them. So that's the first one. This is the second one. And I just cram all of my Alice stuff in there. So I've got like Jim Shore figurines and
I love it.
Collectibles, keys, all kinds of stuff, teapots, you name it. That's all of my crazy Alice stuff is tucked in there. And then I wanted to show this off because I think it's amazing. And Living the Dream is in the chat. She sent me this last week unboxed in, but it's an Alice in Wonderland doorknob. So it's an actual real doorknob. It's obviously not installed. It's just sitting on my kitchen counter right there. I might need Jason's help for installing that on my door. But
when I saw that,
doorknob that looks like.
When I saw you unbox that, I told my husband I wanted to get one of those for the boys' room.
It's so amazing.
That's really cute.
It's so cute.
So excited about it all over again.
I really,
but yeah, so that's kind of
want that for the nursery.
That's my Disney decorating, and it's not a lot yet. I'm sure it will get to be more in the near future, but you do what you can. And I have so much stuff. Like I have stuff in boxes. I have an entire giant box of pop vinyls that is like in my closet right now because I don't know where to go with them. Eventually there will be a bookshelf behind me that's going to be full of pops and other things. I have plans. I just don't have the time to execute them right now. Thank you again, Living the Dream. So next up, I want to show off This is another friend of the show who did an Adventures Club themed lounge / bar
Amazing.
in his house.
I'm definitely
gonna
doing
let
one of these rooms.
I'm gonna let people guess in the chat who this is. They probably know.
I was gonna say it's probably a little recognizable.
Yeah. But so this is kind of like a a panoramic shot, and then some shots of some of the stuff up close. The Jungle Cruise. I think is this the Jungle Cruise ice cream bowl from Disneyland?
Maybe?
I can't tell. It's too dark.
I
No.
don't think so.
No, it's
No,
mounted.
I think it's actually just like I think it's actually just like a figurine of some kind.
Yes, it's Axel. You guys are right. He's gonna yell at me now.
Yeah.
How could you think that's a ice cream bowl, Jill? He's got his fez. His Joe Rody painting. I actually have this exact same print is sitting over in the side of the room that I'm in right now. So Joe, this was a limited edition print that Joe Rody did for the 20th anniversary of Animal Kingdom. And if you were there on the day and got in line, you could get Joe Rody to autograph it. And Jason brought me one home, and it's probably it's like top 5 of my most prized Disney possessions is this print.
Heck yeah.
So I love that Axel's got one too. And then he's just got this like cool little collection. You can see some Jack Lindsay's coasters in this like shadow box that he put together. But again, like it's not all Disney stuff. It's stuff that makes you feel like you're Disney, because like if you walk into the Jungle Cruise, like those aren't Disney things in there, but it's stuff that feels like Disney.
I'm gonna have to show this to my husband because he wants to redo a portion of the basement after we had the flood. That would be perfect.
Right. And like you have so many options. Like you can go like more sort of like the sea Nautilus kind of theme. Mm-hmm. You can do more like the Adventures Club. You can do more like Jungle Cruise, or you can kind of do a little bit of everything. And I feel like all of those things are not, they wouldn't clash too much. You could kind of put them all together.
Yeah.
And then we also got some pictures in. What's that, Desi?
And if you like sea, make sure you tune in tomorrow.
Yes, what a great plug. So I'm gonna pull Desi up for a second and give you guys a preview, because I think Desi's gonna have to leave us in a couple of minutes. We have tomorrow night on WDW News Tonight is a special sea themed episode of the show. And so you just got a little sneak preview of it right there. But yeah, you should definitely tune in for that. There will be members of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers that you have never met before that you will get to meet in person on our show tomorrow night. So you definitely want to check that out. All right, and Desi, at any point, if you need to take your leave to go to go rehearse for the show tomorrow, by all means, we understand.
I'm not going to be on the show tomorrow. None of us are.
That's right.
It's all going to be society members.
Well, you got to get things ready tonight, though, right? For their arrival.
You're like a liaison, right? You're a handler.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a friend of Z member.
You're the plus one.
There you go.
All right. Next up, we have some pictures that another WDWNT staffer, Cassie, sent in to us of her Disney home decorating. So I love this, that she's got this whole collection of prints on her wall. She's got Gusteau's right there. And I think, is that Tiana's place on the left?
Yes, and it's a perfect mashup with Tiana.
With Tiana holding Remy in the middle.
That is so perfect.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Like, where do you get a picture of Tiana holding Remy? I have no idea. So, and clearly she's a Remy fan, so she's got more Ratatouille merchandise. I'm super excited we all get to see Ratatouille very soon. I know, like, Tom says it's not that great, but I'm super excited to see the ride. I'm excited for a new ride in Disney World, so.
Yeah. I think at this
That's
point we're
true.
just grateful that it's finally opening.
Right? It's only a year late. It's no big deal.
It's fine.
Just got more Remy cutting board.
Oh, I
Another
love
Tiana's
that.
Place sign. Yeah, this is really pretty too. And it's done almost in like a shadow boxy kind of thing. The Mickey toaster and like then some like the Mickey towels and curtain type stuff in the background. I love this that it's like the blatant Mickey touch in front of the subtle Mickey touch.
Mm-hmm.
I need those pillows.
They're really pretty. I feel like these were like for sale.
They were at Disney, I think.
Yeah.
As part of the home collection. I don't know if they're still there. But I love the Dodger plush.
I know, super cute. Yeah, I don't think they're that old. I don't think it was that long ago that they were sold. And then another Mickey throw. I love this too. I love the colors and the pattern on this. That's really pretty. And then, you know, like many of us, a whole bunch of plush and a whole bunch of pop vinyls. I have a lot of sympathy for this picture right here. And then cool little collection of Haunted Mansion stuff. Yeah, those are really cool.
Those are cool.
Yeah, so definitely I love that whole, you know, being able to bring in, that's the other nice, like you can bring in, I like Remy and I like Tiana, so let me find a way to mash them all together. Arch said you can request custom sketches from the artist on Main Street when they're around, so maybe that's what she did. She had this kind of custom done for her. I know if you go to the Art of Disney at Disney Springs, they usually have artists, although I don't know if they will do multiple characters in the same shot. I've actually never asked.
So the Tinkerbell in the nursery, the sketched one that was kind of at the very end of the video, that's an example of what those sketches look like. So it's more of a rough, not a rough drawn, but more of like a hand sketch. It's not a full on print. I don't think they do prints like the Tiana and the Remy. But and I don't know that you can combine characters because they have like a book that you flip through that has examples of all of the sketches and the poses of the characters that they can do. And then you put in the order and have to come back for it. But it is still really nice because you can customize, you can choose any color of the rainbow. So again, for theming purposes or, you know, what have you, they can color it in to look like the character, or you can pick a monochromatic color that will go with what you're going for. And they're really nice and beautifully done.
Yeah, I've never actually had one done. I always sit there and look through those catalogs and then think, oh, I'll buy some of the prints that are already there. And then that's usually what I wind up doing.
You should do it.
And so one other thing I wanted to show off. So in the process of kind of like looking at all of the stuff that's out there, I found this article on like Insider or something about this woman with this crazy Disney house, right? So I found her Instagram account. And she's got the most insane house I think I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
It's like every room is themed with all of this stuff. And like the whole article talks about like,
is that the Cinderella dress like from the live action Cinderella?
No, I don't think so. I don't get the impression that that's what
I think that's a Barbie. Or like,
is it a Barbie dress?
Can I click and blow that up? Oh no, I can't.
Because I don't know, maybe I am crazy, but to me that looks like the Cinderella dress from the live action a couple years ago.
Yeah, it does.
No, I think it is, but I don't.
Amazing.
And I just like I'm stunned. Like she sometimes buys this old furniture and like refinishes it to
that
like
Tony
feel like
sign.
Yeah,
I know there's another one, right?
Sign that Emma does.
Her master bedroom is like all Cinderella themed. She's got like a tiki room themed room. It's like, it's
Oh, I love
crazy
a
to me
tiki
that, and it's
one.
like her entire house. And so like this is kind of, to me, like, this is too much, right? Like where everything
Yeah.
around you is just Disney all the time.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting that topiary the next flower and garden.
I know, right? Like now I'm kind of like, I want more topiaries, and I want the flower and garden things. I have one from like 3 years ago. It's like a figment stepping stone, and it's made of resin, and it's on my patio. And now I'm like, I wish I had more stuff like that. Like those old, like, especially I think flower and garden used to do more sort of like the legitimately home and garden merchandise stuff than they do now. Now it's like, oh, there's a flower pot here and there or whatever, but it's not like, and I'm sure it didn't sell that well, but it makes me wish that I had bought a lot more of that stuff back then.
Yeah.
But so one of the questions I wanted to ask you guys in like looking at all this stuff, talking about all this stuff, is like, if you could do anything in your house, what would you do? Disney.
That's a toughie.
All right, I'm gonna pick one of you. Desi?
So I really like the idea of an enchanted tiki room, but like, you know, the tiki room and like Trader Sam's, like that whole vibe. I think maybe just because I love Hawaii so much and, you know, Polynesian islands, that's probably why. But after seeing Eric and Axel's rooms now, I really want to see room 2.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Like that's actually what I was going to say, is like, I really do think, and maybe we'll have to post an update. It'll maybe be my maternity leave project, since we have to redo the basement after the septic backup, but is to do something like that in my basement. And hats off to the two of them, because I think if I were to say what a happy medium between nods to Disney and just something that looks really cool and interesting, that you could have, again, Disney people over non-Disney people, and everyone would like it, I think they hit the nail on the head. Like, again, like, it's fun to walk people up here to this room and be like, yeah, no, I really love Disney and I'm a crazy person. Look and see, here's all the evidence of the crazy. And have them look around and look at all this stuff almost like a little mini museum. It's fun to do it in a very subtle way too. But still very blatantly Disney. Like, I feel with both of their rooms, like, even if you've only been to the parks once, it's going to be like, that stuff looks familiar to me and I don't exactly know why.
Yeah, I like that idea. And I mean, here's the other nice thing about doing that is it's probably a whole lot cheaper than if you tried to just do it all Disney, because you can go to like, I mean, I've been with Axel at like flea markets and like been looking for like, okay, I found an old pair of skis or snowshoes or a safari helmet or whatever. And you find like these weird little treasures. So like there's an element to it too of like, it's like an adventure because you're like out hunting for these things and you can stumble upon and you find like just the right thing and then you bring it home. We were not this past weekend, but the weekend before, we went to this cool little store called Artifact, I think that was it began with an A. And they were like all these little booths of different like people who like did refurbished furniture and like home decor items and all this stuff. And there was one booth that was like all this creepy old weird, butterflies like in boxes, and they had a stuffed like, what kind of monkey? It was some kind of monkey, orangutan monkey, whatever. And like Eric and Axel were both like almost fighting over who was going to be able to buy it to put in their sea themes. Like, and they kind of have a little bit of a competition about it, and it's adorable. But they were just like in awe of this monkey, and they wanted to bring, it was like $1,600 or something crazy, and they wanted to bring this monkey home to put it in their respective like sea themed rooms. But like you have,
I want to go there. I want to go to the Lakeland Antique Mall. All these great places that I've heard about now.
Well,
like, I gotta go find all this.
Desi, I'll talk to you about Lakeland tomorrow night when I see you at the show. I'll tell you all about it.
I wanted to say, talking about treasures, when it came to house hunting for the first time, this was kind of coincidental, but when my husband and I first bought our townhome years ago, I knew it was meant to be because this was sitting on the stove. Hopefully we can see it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a vintage Walt Disney World spoon rest. And I saw it and I said, okay, well, this house has to be ours because of the spoon rest. And I said to my realtor, I need the spoon rest. And she was like, you're joking, right? I said, no, it has to be written into the contract. I need the spoon rest. And thankfully they were so nice enough to leave this for me. And then fast forward 5-6 years, my husband and I decided that we need to expand, get a bigger home, single family home. And I said to my realtor, and this is a new realtor this time, happened to be my best friend's mother. So she knows I'm kind of a nutcase. But I said, whatever home, and mind you, this was during the pandemic. We were one of those crazy people house hunting during this nonsense housing market. And I said, when we find our home, there's going to be something in that home that's Disney, and I'm going to want it, and it means we're going to get this home. So I don't know, 5-6 homes we put in offers, we did not get them. We walked into this home and we went down the basement, and there was she had not like a wall, but a duct unit, a metal duct unit that had magnets all over it. And I saw Disney magnets, and I extended my hand out, and this was there. He's kind of faded. He's really old.
Wow.
Wow.
But I reached my hand. It's so bright. Okay, I reached my hand out, and my husband was like, "Do not take that." I said, "I won't take it." But we left the house. We walked outside in the driveway, and I said, "I know this house is meant to be because of that figment magnet, and I need to have that figment magnet." So anyway, we ended up getting the house. I again asked for the magnet in the contract, and it is mine. And it will forever be my home, and Figment has a special place in my heart. So have no shame, people. Have no shame in your Disney home decor.
Yeah, so there's a lesson in when it comes to Disney, don't be afraid to ask for what you want, because sometimes people are willing to give it to you. It works in the parks, and apparently it works when you're buying a home as well. So with that, because if you saw in the chat, Desi had to leave us early to go to rehearsal for News Tonight tomorrow night. I'm sorry, to support the rehearsal of the sea characters who are on the show tomorrow night. So with that, I think we're going to wrap up a little bit early, take our leave of y'all. And by all means, especially for WIGS members, I would love if this would spur in Discord a whole bunch of WIGS sharing pictures of their cool Disney stuff, because I think we all, that's the other thing about this that I love. Being a Disney fan and being friends with other Disney fans is I can go to their house and stay in their Haunted Mansion guest room and go see all their crazy wall of plush or wall of pop vinyls or cool prints that they got somewhere. Or, if it's Tom, the crazy stuff you bought at an auction and it's some attraction sign, and that's even cooler.
Yeah.
But being able to share that with other people, right? So yes, it's really cool if it's Axel and you have this, sea themed or Adventurers Club themed bar, but then you bring your friends into it who are also Adventurers Club type friends, and they all want to sit down and have a drink, and you can just kind of sit down and admire all of it together. So it's awesome to do, and even better when you have people you can really enjoy it with. And so I think that's part of, what we wanted to do here tonight, and what I hope WIGS can do in Discord is share your fun Disney stuff with each other, because it makes it all better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, I'm going to try to not mess up the end credits the way I messed up the beginning credits. Say to everybody, have a great night. Thank you, Shannon, for being on the show. Thank you, Desi, out there in celebration, doing her thing. Thank you, my co-host, Ashley. And we'll see you all again in a couple weeks for the next episode of Ink and Paint.
Night, everyone.
Bye.